Hello and welcome there to another episode of the Cliff Notes podcast, where we ask a leader and find their way. Today I've been joined by James Worthington, who's the Managing Director at MyWorkwear, one of the leading suppliers in the UK, and also a champion of UK manufacturing and engineering. Welcome today, James.
Hi Tristan, thank you for having me on board.
That's all right, it's all right. You're a busy fellow, so we'll get straight into it. Could you give us a bit more of a background of what MyWorkwear does and how you've been getting on this year?
Yeah, certainly. So MyWorkwear, as it says on the name, really, we manufacture and supply workwear, uniforms, PPE, and I'll also say medical PPE, especially at the moment. We're also experts in embroidery and printed logos.
Great. And I mean, is that been one of those sort of things that's changed for everyone this year, but you've been able to work into to pick up some of that stuff and help the medical teams and the different companies who need that PPE?
Yeah, very much so. It's interesting because obviously pre-COVID, we've obviously always, when I talk to customers in the past about PPE, I'm generally talking about your safety helmets, your high-vis vests, your safety boots, your safety glasses and stuff like that, non-medical PPE. But obviously, we've then been chucked in with this pandemic. And because of our supply chain, we were fortunate enough to be able to supply medical PPE masks, disposable aprons, disposable coveralls, your nitrile gloves, etc., etc. So we've always had access to it, if that makes sense, with our various suppliers that we use, but we haven't obviously sold it anywhere near the volumes we have been selling it in the last few months.
And has that mean sort of new machinery or new standards that you've had to achieve to be able to provide that sort of service as a medical product rather than just a safety?
No. I mean, so we don't manufacture and we don't manufacture the face masks or the aprons or stuff like that. It is all bought in, so that's obviously the manufacturer that will have done all that, made sure it's at the right standards as such. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's been quite a learning curve for us because. As you are obviously probably very aware of this, Tristan, that obviously the supply and the demand was just ridiculous, especially at the peak of the lockdown, and it was very hard to get hold of product, even from our big wholesalers, and there were a lot of cowboys out there, so we had to be really careful with who we did business with, because at the end of the day, the last thing we would want to do is supply a load of face masks into a healthcare home or hospital, something that wasn't up to scratch, so we had to be really careful who we did business with to make sure that what they were supplying us was legit, really, and had the right certificates to conform to everything.
So you've been able to support your customers by providing that as a service and making those relationships.
Yeah. So COVID actually has been good for us, and I'm very humbled to say this. We didn't anticipate this at all. We went into obviously lockdown very apprehensive about things. We actually shut down for three and a half weeks in the end. And basically, obviously, we have a website that's got a good presence out there on the internet. It's been there for 20 years. And it was like watching, not say watching, it was like turning off the tap space. You could see literally the sales just slowing up. We took the decision to obviously close the business temporarily. We furloughed our staff. And we turned off the website, so the website couldn't take any orders. But obviously, we could then track the website to see how many visits a day and how many inquiries were coming in. And obviously, after about 3.5 weeks, we took the decision to open back up again because there's enough demand there.
Sponsorship of this podcast has been brought to you by Holding Bay, the digital web agency. Holding Bay specialises in working with B2B companies like manufacturers to build better solutions and drive better sales funnels. So if you would like to build a web application or improve your branding and sales funnel, get in contact today. holdingbay.co.uk or call us on 01273 044 019.
Yeah, but as I was saying, COVID. We generally normally when when there's a threat out there like a recession or something, we are a great barometer of how industry fails. With this, it's been completely different. We've been very fortunate, and if anything, COVID has actually given us a lot of business. So as I mentioned, obviously we went into lockdown. We closed the factory for 3.5 weeks. Myself and my business partner were still able to work. We're working from home, but we obviously saw a substantial increase in medical PPE inquiries. So we're able to sell a lot of medical PPE and get it drop shipped to the customer from our suppliers. And then what's also happened, again, we've been very, very fortunate with this. Obviously, at one point there were, I think, was it 9 million people were furloughed? The weather was quite nice. People were at home, people were bored. They're on their computers, on their laptops, they're on their phones, and they stumbled across our website. We have a no minimum order. We do obviously most 90% of our business is B2B, but we do B2C as well. And we started to just get lots of little orders for shorts, t-shirts, polos, caps, etc. coming through. So that's been great. And then what has happened, and we didn't see this coming, but obviously because of COVID, it's forced people into different ways of purchasing their workwear. So what we then also managed to get, and we are still getting a lot of business from, is people aren't going into shops, into your little workwear shops and your embroidery and print shops in towns and cities. They're instead going onto the internet, finding us, and obviously we've been very fortunate again, and we've got all this business, and we've also found small competitors have obviously, unfortunately, gone out of business due to what's gone on, and we've picked up all their business as well. So, we're very, very fortunate. I'm very humble to say this. I'm really appreciative of it. But COVID has actually brought a lot of business our way, and I've actually almost doubled my workforce in the last 3 months just to cope with demand.
No, that's great that you've been able to bring everyone back off a furlough and then still do more and
Mm,
keep going. So a good success in business.
yeah.
Um, I think we've been noticing a lot of the sort of SMB businesses and sort of manufacturing companies have been sort of picking up where some of the bigger firms have been sort of just shutting down and sitting on their bank balances. There seems to have been a lot more pulling together and helping and being of service to people. I mean, have you seen that with yourself and clients too?
Yes, very much so. It's just very crazy times, isn't it? Because it's just such unprecedented times, and it's very. I mean, it's for us. It's very hard to like any business out there. It's very hard to plan, if that makes sense, because it's just so unknown. And but like you say, everyone is sort of working together and trying to support each other. And yes, it's like, in answer to your question, obviously a lot of the bigger businesses have held off, haven't they, on big capex expenses, etc. We don't fall into that, if that makes sense. We're not a big capex expense or investment. And if anything, actually, another thing where we've been fortunate again is obviously the people that have lost their jobs or just got to a point in their lives where they thought, you know what, I've only got one life, and they've had a bit of a wake up call. And they decided to leave their company, whoever they're working for, and set up their own, little business. We've been very fortunate. Again, we've picked up all that business as well for new people starting out again, as such.
So you find a few of those businesses that even if they're not getting out on sales calls, it's good to feel presentable and feel like you've got a good uniform on when you're on these sort of video calls and doing your day job.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes, very much so. I think, if anything, brand awareness is more important than ever at the moment, because at the end of the day, you really need to stand out against your competitors, don't you? I think the world is at a point now where you just need to look slick. You need to have that professional image. And yes, I mean, yeah.
And with all this extra work and the extra success you've been having with shipping more product out, you've also taken on the opportunity to update your own branding. I mean, has that been a big process also?
That's been a really big job, actually. Didn't quite realise what a bigger job what a big job it was to do the rebrand. It's been great. We've had fantastic feedback from all our customers on it. But yes, it was a very big project. But yeah, we just took the opportunity to just to crack on. Really, obviously, a lot of businesses, whether it's right or wrong, I would say it's wrong. When you go into a recession or there's a big threat out there, will cut back on their marketing and sales activities. They'll batten down the hatches. I'm a big believer of going the other way: invest, invest, invest. So we've taken this opportunity to invest in a rebrand of the logo, which has been great. And as I say, it was a big job, because if you think about it, our previous logo we've had for 20 years, so everybody knows that little man. And it was a big decision to drop the little man, but it was the right thing to do. And it's the way that we want to take the business moving it forward. We need to just come across as being that more professional. But yes, it was a very big job, and I'm glad to say it's all complete now. The signage is up around the building, and you just don't realise just how much your logo goes on so many things, and how many things you do have to change within the business. When you have a rebrand as such.
Were you able to, in a sense, dog food your own processes and get your team producing their own new shirts and new workwear?
Yes, yes. Obviously, there were. Yes, we obviously did it all in house. So we got the logos embroidered. Actually, there's no. I've had prints put on like bags and stuff like that, but in general, it's a lot of embroidered polo. The guys, the team at work have all got t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, etc., all with the logo on the front and on the back, shouting out what we do as such. So that was it was good. Yeah, it's good fun.
And I mean, just to lead that into then, I mean, what is the mix of your sort of machinery or your capabilities? Is it mostly embroidery or?
Yes, yeah, we've got again during obviously I say during, it's still going on, isn't it, at the moment? Due to demand, we had to increase our capacity, and we had to increase our capacity very quickly, actually. So we've invested in quite a few new embroidery machines. I did actually work out the other day. I think we've increased capacity by about 38%. So we've had quite a few new big embroidery machines downstairs. So the majority of the machinery, if you were to come into our factory, is made up of embroidery machines. And then we've also got some printing machines as well to do the vinyl prints and heat transfers, etc.
And you're all on one site, are you, or sort of warehousing and creating?
Yes, very much so. All on one site at the moment. So we've got the warehouse and we've got the factory all together, and then we've got the offices upstairs.
And you're servicing the whole of UK? Or?
Yes, yeah. We do the whole of the UK mainland basically. We've just had a meeting earlier this week actually to discuss about, are we going to branch out into Europe. And we've just taken the decision that with what's going on with Brexit, and it's still unclear, we've decided to put that on the back burner for now, and we are going to focus just on the UK for now.
I mean, it must be an interesting change for you, slightly differently from maybe more sort of parts and tools manufacturing companies, but the essence of possibly reshoring or readjusting contracts and supply chain that's going to be enforced with, in a sense, with Brexit happening and trade negotiations changing. I mean, is that going to affect much of your supply line, or more you just have to help your other clients?
Yes, it will affect us. I mean, we run a just-in-time stock system now, and we have done for quite a few years now. When we started to really streamline the business, so we don't have control, obviously, over our wholesaler prices, if that makes sense. Obviously, they're going to have to negotiate with the manufacturers around the world and Europe to obviously, so it is a worry in that sense, but there's nothing, it is out of our control, and I just hope that the prices don't, rocket up. But if it does rocket up for us, it means it'll rocket up for everybody else as well. But hopefully we won't get to that situation.
It's likely to affect just-in-time processes. That if all this stuff's going to get held up at the ferry ports and stuff, it's going to affect either how much stock people need to hold or what else can go on.
Yes, very much so, and I'm sure it will. There will be a slowdown in being able to. There'll be a slowdown in delivery times. Unfortunately, I mean, to be honest, we're experiencing a slowdown in our supply delivery times right now with what's going on in the world. Because unfortunately, obviously, with COVID, what you're finding is these factories. Are getting outbreaks of COVID, and these factories are obviously having to close down temporarily and then reopen up again. So it's something that we, as a operationally, we're having to deal with anyway at the moment. We're not on all products, but unfortunately, I'd probably say. I'd have to speak to my ops director about it, but it is a significant problem for us at the moment with our supply chain. But fortunately, as long as you communicate with the customer, they generally understand the situation and they're happy to wait that little bit longer. But again, it's happening to everybody out there at the moment I speak to. Even our competitors are in the same. It's the same for them as well. So.
Yeah, indeed. It's not just an isolated. We've decided to double our rates or half our time or an efficiency thing. It's affecting everyone.
No, actually.
What's your hope, or what would you like to see come out of the next couple of years? I imagine it's not going to be able to be totally smooth sailing. In what would your hope be, or you'd be able to feel better about your sort of European expansion?
Yeah, we'll definitely, obviously. From an investment point of view for the business, it's not a huge investment to suddenly open up the website to European sales. There's a bit of tech involved, and obviously setting the prices and stuff like that. But the actual business model, as such, I mean, obviously we do a lot of orders via the website. There isn't. It's not a huge investment from a tech point of view for us to do it. It's just what we are. What's the word? We're just going to be cautious for now. Let's just, at the moment, there's enough at it for us to go at in the UK, and obviously we're growing and we're growing rapidly at the moment. And the other thing also, one thing in the back of my mind is that that we don't want to grow too quickly anyway, if that makes sense, because there's always teething problems with growing. We don't want to, I want to grow the business, and it's, and looking at the figures at the moment, we're on track to probably grow the business by 35% this year, which is fantastic, and especially with what's going on in the world at the moment. We grew the business last year by over 20%, so it's a big jump up again. So for now, I want to focus, on the UK and doing a great job for our customers in the UK. Let's see how Brexit goes. Let's see how COVID goes. Let's just get things to settle down, and then we'll look at the options of servicing Europe, I suppose, and factories in Europe, etc.
No, I've seen with people we work with that being able to rely on their models that they've relied on for the last few years of sort of forecasting, those have almost been thrown out the window this year. Is planning 3 years ahead has become now 3 months. So
Oh, absolutely. It's crazy at the moment. It's absolutely crazy. And as I say, for us, October was just an absolute phenomenal month for us. It was, we were 65% over our growth target for the month, which is a huge increase for us. November's been very strong as well, but I do believe now, I think we've seen the peak, if that makes sense. October was just absolutely colossal for the business, and it was fantastic. But obviously, we're working a lot of hours in the business to service our customers. November's been very strong again. It's still very good, but it's I can see now the sales aren't quite where they were in October, but they're still very strong. So it's just very hard to it's just very hard to plan, like you say. But you can't really. We're literally just 2-3 months. That's all we can plan ahead at the moment with what we're doing operationally. We've got a lot of temps in the building at the moment helping us out, which is great. But and we're waiting for 3 Kickstarters to come and join us at some point. But yeah, we've, as I say, we've almost doubled the workforce since COVID started. So yeah, it's crazy, really crazy times.
So I mean, well done for the continued growth so far this year. I mean, is that what the sort of business challenges are over the next 3 years? Is in a sense bedding in these new people and working with more of a sort of apprentices and sort of new starters and sort of growing that
Yeah,
interest
very much so. I mean, don't get me wrong, the people who are temps in the business have been great and really helped as well. But you don't want to invest too much time and money in a temp, unfortunately, because you don't know how long they're going to stay. And obviously, to work in the factory and to work the machines and etc. etc. There is some training involved, if that makes sense. So it's a bit of a difficult one, really, isn't it? Because we don't want to spend too much time developing them up because we don't know how long they're going to stay with us for. So going down the route of these Kickstarters will be a great one, and obviously just taking people on permanently is the way we really need to go. But at this stage, we just got to be very careful because we just don't know how this is going to pan out. I mean, at the moment, the sales are strong and it's very, very good, but as you know, things can change and they can change in seconds. Something can happen and there could be an announcement and it just, everything just changes again. So who knows?
Totally. I mean, that's one of the things we've been working with. Yeah, that's one of the things we've been working with and wondering is, and now I know the furlough scheme's been extended again, but will there be that round of layoffs and that round of sort of business change or businesses reviewing and closing that we'll all have to look at and reassess and see what's going on to come after. I mean, these are changing times or whatever, and especially more in the industry of a whole. Do you feel you have a part in sort of shaping the future? You seem personally likes to get out and talk to people and be in public.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as you know, I like to get out there a lot. I go to a lot of events and shows and stuff like that. And I'm always trying to get. I'm very much a people person. Like to meet and greet people. I just love talking to people about manufacturing and engineering. It has, yeah. It's obviously like the whole world's moved over to Zoom or Microsoft Team meetings as such. Um, I've even attended a few online trade expos as such, which have been fine. But I can't wait until we can get back out into the real world and go to these physical shows and stuff. I think they're very important. At the end of the day, people buy from people, and there's only so much you can do on a computer screen, as in building relationships. And ultimately, although I'm the MD for MyWorkwear, I'm a sales guy. I love sales, and it's really important to meet people in the flesh. I think to do business, to build relationships, and to support each other.
Yeah, handshakes are much harder over a Zoom call, so
Absolutely.
it's good to be able to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to wrap this up in a bit more of a fun way, if we were to box you in the corner, and you're a superhero and you're going to come out fighting, what would be the couple of things you'd grab that would come to hand that would make you come out on success this year?
I always get annoyed with the media, with how they portray manufacturing and the engineering, generally those two industry segments in the UK. I think they always seem to be very negative about what's going on out there. And if I could come out of my corner, I'd love to convince certain media channels to be more upbeat about the manufacturing and engineering industry. I mean, fortunately though, fortunately, social media, there's some really great characters out there, some influencers out there, especially on LinkedIn, that really push out the good. It's all about pushing out good news. It's that positive mental attitude of just being more positive about what's out there, because there is doom and gloom out there, and there will always be doom and gloom out there in the world. But there's a lot of good things going on in this country. There's some really switched on companies that you just don't hear about because it's they want to shout out good news, and unfortunately the media generally want to talk about bad news. So yes, if I was boxed in the corner and I was coming out fighting, I'd like to somehow get these media companies to be more positive about the outlook for the UK.
I think that's a great one. So and there's been great being able to talk to you and feed off your positivity and the good story for the business this year.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Even while there is some issues for everybody and everyone's sort of dealing with it this year. So, it's been great talking to you today and sharing the sort of positivity that your business has been able to achieve, even while everyone's been having to deal with this situation. What's a good way of getting in contact?
Yeah, obviously you've got our website, which is myworkwear.co.uk. You can connect with us, obviously, on all the usual social media channels. And if anybody wants to connect with me personally, if you go and search for hashtag that workwear guy, you'll find me. So it'd be great to connect.
Well, it's been super talking to you, and can certainly recommend coming and getting in contact for everyone who needs their new workwear gear. We've been looking at getting our logo redone this year so that we can get it stitched on. It didn't really fit a good embroidery earlier in the year, so we're planning that for the next year. So I'll have to come and get a quote from you.
Oh, great! Yeah, come and give me a shout. We'll look after you for sure. Super. Well, thank you very much, Tristan. Stay safe, and thank you for having me on. Take care.
Thanks for joining us today on this episode of the Cliff Notes podcast. If you'd like to talk to me or the guest, please do so and contact us via the cliffnotespodcast.com website, where we'll be sharing the show notes and highlights of the show.
Connect with me. I've got a handle of that workwear. Oh, crikey, sorry, Tristan, I forgot what I've called myself. That workwear. We'll start again. You want to ask me that again? The coffee hasn't kicked in, mate. The coffee hasn't kicked in, mate.